Philosophy was a required class that we had to take for our college credits. In one of the discussions, I remember the question was, if God created the world and the world is not perfect, then that means God isn't perfect. And the discussions that I had with the other students and my own classmates kind of led me to start to waver in my faith, because they asked questions in ways that made you doubt the ethics of Islam.
We realize our girls who are growing up here in the world of social media, technology, and instant gratification, a society whose youth is increasingly becoming skeptical of God and religion. The harsh reality of the matter is that our Muslim youth, they are not immune to these growing trends of skepticism and agnosticism. According to a Pew Research conducted in 2017, 24% of Muslim adults who grew up, of course, in Muslim households, do not associate with the faith anymore. Clearly, the stakes are very high, and we cannot take this lightly.
So she's Muslim, but her parent...
As educators, we realize that our responsibility to teach our truth to this generation is enormous, and it has to be done in fresh and innovative ways. In Islamic Studies Department, Religious Studies Department, we don't have access to lesson plans like core teachers do. When it comes to other subjects, they have access to great academic research. Unfortunately, most of the research work that is available in the field of Islamic studies is in Arabic, and many teachers don't have access to the language, or they're not at that level where they can access Arabic books. And I guess that's where Yakeen comes in. Curriculum such as Yaqeen's, that comes complete with all resources, whether it's worksheets or lesson plans or objectives and standards, video resources, reflection questions. Best part about Yaqeen's curriculum is that it's very flexible, it's very fluid, it's not rigid. I assess the need of my student and then I customize it.
The first article that we studied was Why Does God Ask People to Worship Him by Muhammad al-Chinawi. And it talked about how we give Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala human characteristics. And so when we talk about why we need to worship God, we're thinking of it as God needing something from us. And it rephrased the question from why does God need our worship to why do we need God's worship? And that answered a huge question for me, because I realized that I'm doing this for myself, for my own benefit. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me something like a tool to use, so whenever I need help, whenever I'm struggling through something, that's why I worship Him. I'm not doing it for no reason.
Like a 10th grade or something.
No, the book is very good. About like also
True.
content, so also like English literature, you need to learn how to.
Yeah, and I don't know if you ever...
Environmental ethics article that we did. As someone who's passionate about, caring for the environment, recycling, all of that, it made me really happy, like Islam places such great importance on caring for the environment because, it's Allah's creation. Allah gave this to us to take care of it and use it properly. And the mindfulness article that we also did, that helped me realize that, sitting in silence is okay. It can be a form of ibadah as well, as long as you make the right intention. Islam is more than just, praying and fasting. It's a three-dimensional religion. There's more aspects to it.
I remember when I saw that question in the philosophy class, it was the first time I ever was able to apply something that I learned so realistically, and it was in an open platform. So there were students from other religious backgrounds and not just Muslims. So I immediately texted Sister Fozia and I was like, oh my God, I used what we learned in class today. And I felt so accomplished because usually when it comes to things like prayer, it's for myself. So I'm praying for myself, I'm fasting for myself. But this time I felt like not only did I speak for myself, but also for Islam.
So
Okay, tell me, like, how do you help? This is a growing trend, right? It's not like one-offs anymore. You see this happening everywhere.
Yeah, I feel like people just put Muslim for like diversity points. That's literally it.
Yeah.
Because 21st century people, you'll literally get canceled if you don't have at least one ethnic person in your book or TV show.
Yeah, exactly.
Pagan
Yeah.
religion, and that's also her family. It's like,
Alhamdulillah, by enhancing our in-school curriculum with Yaqeen's scholarly resources, our Islamic studies classes, they don't look like classrooms anymore. They don't feel like classrooms anymore. It's like a camp where we're having deep, meaningful conversations, even fun conversations, sometimes emotional.
Discussions are a very important piece of learning. Like, it's a very important aspect when it comes to Islamic studies, especially because, you know, it helps us connect with like what's happening in the real world with what we're learning in class. The Yaqeen curriculum was, in a way, a tool to help us cross that bridge and make us more confident in who we are and why we're here.
And alhamdulillah, we see the impact of these conversations, be it in them striving hard to wake up for tahajjud, to practice mindfulness, or tackling tough questions in their college philosophy class about God and suffering.
Yeah, so when someone, you know, puts that question at you, why is there evil on earth, or why is there suffering on earth? Why are kids being killed, innocent kids being killed? Even this recent situation that we had with Palestine, right? Why is all this happening if there is a God? How do you respond to something like that? Because it can even boggle the best of the minds, right?
We're an all-girls school. To see our girls in hijab arrive to a space where they seem unaffected by how the world perceives their deen, or even them as Muslims, is a beautiful display of clarity and conviction. Once conviction sets in a person's heart, then it's pretty difficult, if not impossible, to persuade them otherwise. Whether you're part of an Islamic institution, school, masjid, wherever you are, or even parents, let's come together and embrace the struggles of our youth so they embrace their learning. And in the process, we help them come full circle in this journey or in this pursuit of what we call Yaqeen.